republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I call this regular meeting to order. At the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, duly called and held on the 13th day of November 2018 at 7:30 p.m. in the Trustees Room, second floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, and public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law.
Whereas members of this board present at this meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting of October 15th, 2018, October 22nd, 2018. Now therefore be it resolved, this board approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
I second the resolution.
Trustee Barris.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
And now we have the public portion. This portion of the meeting is for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to speak, once recognized, shall stand and state their name and address. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes if speaking for themselves, or 5 minutes if speaking on behalf of a group. I will ask the speakers to refrain from remarks that are in poor taste, slanderous, or not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board. Nobody's here, so I close the public portion. Now for my report. I have a couple of things to report to you. First of all, I'm going to come back and but talk to you about the creek flooding that we were discussing the other day. I spoke with Brad Bentley, who is the new Director of Public Facilities in Chautauqua County. We actually had a very long conversation, quite good conversation, and I'm going to give you a summary. First of all, no new bridge is going to be constructed for the Water Street. This is the reason for that. Actually, he gave me two reasons. One is that out of 309 bridges in Chautauqua County that the county owns, actually, this is considered one of the best, in best condition, let's say. And the second reason is that when I explained what the problem is, he said that in his opinion, if we remove the center pillar, the support, we're going to have to make the other two supports wider, which means still we're going to have a smaller space from which the different brush and debris are going to have to pass by. So in his opinion, that was not a good way to go. Actually, what he has suggested is this, that at this moment, a gentleman by the name of Dave Spann, who is the field manager at the Soil Water Conservation District, he is trying to secure some finance, some money to assist homeowners and businesses that own creek bed property, to assist them financially and with actual people to clear their property. Now, this was a discussion that we had before. He thinks that this is the best way to actually prevent the problem and not fix it. And to which I agree, I have to say, with one asterisk. I think that the main thing that has to be done is the stabilization of the banks. Because if we stabilize the banks, if the banks are stabilized, then the trees are not going to fall, then we're not going to have as many branches, we're not going to have as much debris, and the problem is going to be mitigate itself. So that was a conversation I had, and I expect him that he's going to come back, to call me back and discuss it further, or even come to one of our meetings. So this is one. Now, number two. About 3 weeks ago, I had a letter from a wife of a police officer. Allow me to read part of that letter. Mayor Landis, I'm writing this as formal complaint of the significant and severe safety concerns of our police department. There are several major safety and health concerns that I have personally observed in our village police department. As a village resident and the wife of a police officer, I am appalled at the conditions that are being accepted for our Fredonia police officers and dispatchers to be forced to work in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. These wonderful men and women go to work every day to serve and protect us all, and it's extremely disheartening to know we can't even provide them with a safe building to work in. I know this has been brought up by citizens, employees, and you have addressed it yourself. However, nothing has yet to be done. I do understand it always comes down to money, or there have been not enough money. Yet, as a citizen, I don't see or hear any progressive steps being taken. She goes on to say she has spoken to OSHA, a New York State employee, Pesh. She understands that they came here last year, and they have provided us with a report and a status of things that have to be repaired. I have never seen that report. Have you seen it?
Well, they came through the entire village last year.
Okay, so that's part of it. I thought they came on.
I suspect that that's what they're referring to.
Okay.
Those are the only people who come through the police department.
All right, so if it's that, I've seen it then, yes, I apologize. In the past 2 years, I've been a resident of Fredonia. I've heard snips of conversation of ideas as to how to address this terrible building, and yet here we are 2 years later with nothing but ideas being said, any obvious, and absolutely nothing follow through. You've always said you're the voice for the citizens and have the citizens' best interest in heart, which I do believe you do. So as a citizen of this village, I hope you take this complaint into genuine consideration and start to do something about it. And then, she's very polite in the rest of the letter and sent me some pictures that I would like to circulate. Not that we don't know, but these are the pictures that circulate. Now, I answered her, and in the next week, I had 2 more letters. One says, the police station in Fredonia provides no privacy for victims of crime. Part of it is criminals frequently are feet away from victims, and the community can be witness and in earshot of both. It's abhorrent. I'm shocked that you would want the community and its officers to breathe in that moldy, dirty air. And finally, dear Mayor Landis, I'm writing to you in regards to the condition of the Fredonia Police Department. My husband has been employed by the department for 27 years. Discusses a little bit the condition in there, saying that the station itself is literally falling apart. The walls are crumbling, black mold has been found, the carpets are filthy, the stairs are narrow, entering through the back of the building. Carpets are not be suitable for that type of environment. The prisoner bench is in the main hallway where all police officers enter the building. The department has simply outgrown the workspace provided due to the volume of calls, investigations, and overall workload. As you can imagine, being a taxpayer in the village since 1994, I'm very disappointed in the conditions of the police department. The police officers of the village have made a commitment to their community, and I feel, as citizens, we owe them a safe and healthy environment to work in. I certainly hope these poor working conditions will finally be addressed and rectified in some way. All these letters have signatures so I know who these people are. This is what I have to say. This is a big problem. This is a big problem since the first day I walked into that building. To me, it was a big problem. It's something that I can't really live with. 2 years ago, 2016, November 2016, I spoke with Senator Young regarding this issue. She said that, I quote, "I can't give you a lot of money, but I can give you about $500,000. Now, $500,000 is not enough, but certainly is something. It's a lot of money for us to start, to begin with. So I put a committee together. I put a committee together before that. They they proposed different solutions. We had one solution at the end. That was a new building, brand new building at the St. George's Park. We talked with Mr. St. George, and the idea is to move both the police department and the courts in that facility, in the new facility. That would give us two things. First, we're going to have a new, brand new police facility and courts in a new location. And second, we're going to have the third floor here, which I envision as a private business, something like a restaurant, something like a coffee shop, something like to go and complement the Opera House. And then the space where the current police department is, which I would love to see either public bathrooms or maybe even storage facility, something to that effect. Now going back to Senator Young. After she said that, I called her office, and very, very soon they sent a kind of application for this money. I gave that application to the administrator, asking him to complete it and give it back to me. That never happened. I went back a few times and asked. He always didn't have the right numbers. There are some numbers that are requested. He never had the numbers. I apologize. Too many other things came about, and I did not follow after a couple of months. So today, I called again Senator Young's office, and I spoke with her representative, who encouraged me to do the same thing. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to try to find a way with Anna Marie to fill up this application and send it back. And she's going to follow up with me in the next week sometime. So, I what?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Has Senator Young or her representative ever been to our police station?
No.
I think if we could invite them to come and have a tour and see
No.
exactly the conditions, that might make a difference. I don't know.
I agree, and actually I said that I'm going to send some pictures, which, as I said, anything you can send, that'd be great. But I think that's a great idea. I'm going to invite them
I think they
to
need to
come,
be in there and see it.
so we can give them a tour
Yeah.
of our police department. I think it's a great idea. Certainly, it's something that, to me, was never been in the back burner. It's always in the front, but always has this thing. It's a lot of money. So this is what I'm doing. I'm filling up the application tomorrow again and sending it over. I will do it before the end of the week. Okay, I promise. So that's number 2. Number 3, some good news, finally. Our front steps are done. We used them since this morning. I'm very happy about that. And again, I want to apologize to the people of the village that it took more than 18 months to complete that very, very simple thing. And to go back, I was led to believe that we're going to need a lot of money. I was led to believe, and I think this board was led to believe, that no local contractor would ever even come to give us a price. Well, it took one phone call, and a local contractor came, gave us a price. After we went for the engineering study, that it was pushed that we needed an engineering study, and the engineering study was something between $22,000 and $40,000. We were able to fix the steps with $19,950 and another $700 to put the railing today. So out of the $50,000 we put in the budget last year, and actually the comment was, I'm not even sure that's going to be enough. We have almost $30,000 over, which is good because we can use it in other places. So I'm very glad about that. And last but not least, tomorrow there is an open meeting regarding the Barker Common Steering Committee, with the Barker Common Steering Committee at 9:30 in this room here. There are going to be 3 trustees there, so I'm obligated to open it to the public. So this is my report. And moving along. Trustees, do you have a report?
I have a report. Friday, the 9th of November, was the 80th anniversary of Kristallnacht, the night of breaking glass. On this occasion in Germany, paramilitary groups went through several German cities and ignited synagogues, stores owned by Jewish individuals, and medical practices owned by Jewish individuals. And the police and the fire departments stood by and did not offer any assistance. So I think that's a cautionary note for us to take as municipal officials. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Christina? Christina?
Yeah, I have a bit of a report. First, I have to say that I was recently criticized in and by the Observer newspaper recently. In my report, I find this offensive and inaccurate. They claim that I would never oppose anything the mayor says. I pride myself in working with this mayor, not for the mayor, but with this mayor, to find solutions to issues with our community, resolutions, working to find things, and often we worked through matters. I spend a great deal of time with the mayor and other departments, and doing a lot of research, but often we disagree. We sometimes agree, and sometimes she influences me, sometimes I influence her, and things that come forward. I believe that we should when we bring resolutions forward to be voted on, where they've been worked well enough and through enough that they would hopefully benefit this community. So when I vote, I have done great research, and I vote appropriately on that research. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mrs. Sedota, you said you're going to give a report next week or now?
Well, I can give it now briefly.
Okay. Sure.
This is my report on the capital projects funds that were budgeted for this fiscal year. And the expenditures go through to the end of October. When you add up all of the projects, including the projects, some of them are funded by grants, the total amount of capital fund for this year, excluding the 2.5 million, because I didn't fail to include that, but we've authorized $10 million of spending for various projects. The majority of them are in the water and the wastewater plant for emergency repairs to the water line and water system improvements. It's $1.5 million. And then in the wastewater treatment plant, there's a total of $4,768,000 authorized to be spent for the upgrade and improvements to the wastewater treatment plant. The report reflects the budget that as it was adopted and the amount expended to date, which is, we've spent a little over $1 million. And the unexpended balance for this year is $9 million is left to be spent for these projects. So this is the first attempt to present a report that kind of hopefully will help you to understand what kind of large projects we have and how we're spending the money. And I'm sure there'll be some questions, maybe not right now, but you know, and there'll be further discussions on some of these large projects. So that's my report for tonight.
May I ask a question briefly? Please, on page 2, at the Webster tank, what are VFDs?
I don't really know. The Webster, are those,
I believe those, Jim, are maybe like aerators or something for the chlorine, to keep the water.
this is at the tank, the Webster Road water tank?
Yes,
Is that what,
yes, there's something to do with
the chlorine
the
at the
distribution
tank?
of chlorine and keeping
Okay.
it, I guess the water fresh of some sort.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Silver. Dan, you have anything?
No, Mayor.
Nate, can I ask you to give a progress report on the different projects that we have and the grants?
Sure. So, just to summarize where we're at. It's been a few months since I've given a report on various projects I'm involved with the village. I'll summarize. You also have a handout in your packet to provide some information. But just going through briefly, the first project, the New York Main Street Technical Assistance Grant, which was the $20,000 grant awarded through New York Homes and Community Renewal. So there was a meeting late summer with a committee of individuals outside of both village governments and in no conflict with also owning property downtown, that vetted 10 proposals that were received from downtown property owners to participate in the technical assistance piece. Again, this technical assistance piece will provide architectural renderings, cost estimations for future facade improvements of buildings on Water and Main Street. So of the 10 applications that were received, 5 were prioritized according to criteria set forth in the packet as being meeting the goals of the program. Those properties selected to participate were 1 East Main Street, 13 through 15 East Main Street, 13 Water Street, 15 Water Street, and 6 through 12 West Main Street. So Labella Associates has the contract to do this work and has already reached out to these property owners. Over the course of the winter and by the end of February, this will be substantially complete. And there'll be plenty of time for the property owners to be included, potentially, if the village does so choose, to apply for a 2019 consolidated funding application through New York HCR for the target area program. And that's the New York Main Street target area program. I want to emphasize one point. Properties that were not selected for this technical assistance round are that are still within the target area are still absolutely eligible to participate in the implementation program. What this technical assistance piece does is just adds more readiness and credibility to the implementation grant to show that we have interest, that we have projects that are going to improve the vitality of downtown as well as enhance and stabilize select buildings. The second project is also a New York Main Street project, but this is an anchor project. As you all know, we were awarded last year $450,000 to assist the owner of 50 West Main, Ted Sharon, with a renovation project there. Happy to report that this project is moving full steam ahead with the assistance of LaBella Associates. Most recently, the end of October, LaBella toured the building with Ted Sharon to determine final needs and scope of work, and Ed is at the drawing board with the environmental and architectural piece that will be submitted to HCR this winter. And after that, HCR will approve the scope of work and forward it on to State Historic Preservation Office for their review. So this is moving forward, and we do anticipate construction next year. The second project, which the trustees that are available to attend tomorrow will hear more about. There is the public meeting tomorrow on the Barker Common Improvement Project. The consultant recently provided the board with an update on their community engagement efforts that took place in September and October, which was project kickoff meeting involving village staff and select trustees, as well as a public engagement event that took place at the farmers market to identify priorities for the use of the grant funds and to seek the public's ideas. So we'll get a better update from the consultant on where things stand. The next step for them will be, after moving away from the first round of public engagement, will be to the schematic design phase, in which they'll submit to the village 2 conceptual plans, as well as after that there'll be additional public engagement regarding those concepts. And then finally, a project we haven't yet provided too many updates yet, which is a new project, the Smart Growth Community Fund Award of $2.5 million, which was awarded earlier this fall. The mayor, myself, and Jim had a kickoff conference call a few weeks ago with Empire State Development to discuss the Regional Economic Development Council, which ranked and approved our application, which was one of 5 approved out of 19 communities in Western New York for funding, what priorities they would like to see from our list of potential projects for downtown. So I can report now that the REDC's priority projects are improvements to this building, but specifically the Opera House, as well as streetscape improvements for Water, Temple, and surrounding Barker Common. At this time, those projects are not set in stone. The village will have additional conversations with the state and amongst yourselves on those projects, with additional details supplied to the state over the course of the next few weeks. Once the projects are identified, there'll be some due diligence to vet our preliminary cost estimates, solidify those projects, and then move to a contract with the state, a grant disbursement agreement. Jim had the opportunity to hear about some of the administrative processes for the grants. Basically, upon execution of that GDA, the state will wire $2.5 million to account that Jim will create, separate from other village accounts. And then the village is good to go to procure services for architecture and engineering work, and construction and so forth. But upon receiving invoices for those services, Empire State Development will approve the invoices. Jim will sign off and then cut a check directly from a village account. So this is much more flexible and easy to, as compared to other state grants to administer. So we hope to work with the board in the next month, hopefully before the holidays, to solidify those projects and then move into next year with a grant contract. Are there any questions on that or any of the projects at this time? If anything does come up, you know where to find me, so feel free to reach out, and we hope to keep you updated going forward, specifically on the smart growth fund. Yes.
All right, and now we have the reports. The code enforcement report for the month of September. The fees that are collected overall are $3,860. They were issued 57 permits for inspection and 33 renewals, and there were 3 stop work orders. The justice report, the court report is cases: 103 vehicle and traffic, 24 criminal cases, 19 village ordinances, 6 civil cases, 7 ABC laws, and the total number of cases 159, for a total of $13,600. And the police report for the month of October, 727 incidents reported, 5 call for service, 26 accidents, 46 arrests, 52 vehicle and traffic, and 27 parking tickets. And last but not least, the Fredonia Fire Department. There were 125 rescue and EMS, 7 hazardous conditions, no fire, 11 service calls, 14 good intent, 22 false alarms, and the total is 179 cases reported. Correspondence was received from Festivals Fredonia Committee requesting use of Barker Common and the gazebo for the annual Miracle on Main Street to be held on Saturday, December 1st, 2018, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Be it resolved that permission is hereby granted to the Festivals Fredonia Committee for the use of Barker Common and the gazebo for the annual Miracle on Main Street to include various activities to be held on Saturday, December 1st, 2018, and be it further resolved that the parking meters be bagged no parking on both sides of Park Place, between Church Street and Main Street, and Church Street between Temple Street and Center Street, and the north side of Main Street from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And be it further resolved that this resolution is subject to the village receiving a certificate of insurance from Festivals Fredonia naming the village as an additional insured in the amount of $1 million, which the village has received.
Trustee Barris.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
A letter of resignation was received from Joseph F. Conti, resigning his position effective immediately.
Be it resolved that the resignation of Joseph F. Conti as part-time police officer is hereby accepted effective immediately, and the mayor is hereby authorized to write a letter to Mr. Conti thanking him for his service to the village of Fredonia.
I second that.
Trustee Barris.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department to add the name of Dakota Eric to the active rolls.
Be it resolved that Dakota Eric of Webster Road, Fredonia is hereby added to the active rolls of the Hook and Ladder Company effective immediately.
I second the resolution. I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
And it's got resolutions.
Be it resolved that the regular and overtime payrolls of various village departments and bills approved by the Finance Committee and set forth in abstract number 507 in the amount of $106,916 is hereby approved and paid, directed paid.
I second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Be it resolved that Ariel Rivera of West Second Street, Dunkirk, is hereby appointed to the position of laborer at the Department of Public Works at a rate of pay per the CSEA contract of $15.76 per hour, effective November 14th, 2018, subject to all civil service rules and regulations, and to a 6-month probationary period.
Can somebody second that?
I'll second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia has an immediate need for the services of a village treasurer, and whereas James Sedota is currently serving as deputy treasurer and has personal knowledge of the village records and procedures, now therefore be it resolved that James Sedota is hereby appointed to the position of full-time village treasurer, and be it further resolved that Mr. Sedota shall receive an annual salary of $72,800, as well as a stipend to offset his health insurance costs.
I second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Okay. So, you don't have anything else, so can I have an adjournment? Anybody second? Trustee Barnes?
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Can I ask you to show these pictures?
That's showing me right now.
These are pictures of the police department. Then, where is this one? And there is this one. I can bring 25 more, but these are for now. Thank you very much.